For Complex News, I'm Jinx reporting from Ferguson, Missouri. The name of the officer who shot and killed Michael Brown has been released, as well as additional information surrounding the day of the shooting. After an evening of uplifting and peaceful demonstrations, an early morning press conference took place right here, the now infamous Quick Trip along Florissant Avenue, just around the corner where Michael Brown was shot and killed. Ferguson Police Chief Tom Jackson took the podium this morning where he announced the officer involved in the shooting as one Darren Wilson. Wilson has been described as a 6-year veteran of the county police force, and it has been noted that he has no reported prior incidents on his record. It has also been noted that Wilson has been on paid administrative leave since the shooting last Saturday. Despite unconfirmed sentiments on social media, Officer Wilson is not black. He is confirmed by credible sources to be a white male. Chief Jackson went on to mention that there's been no disciplinary or criminal action taken against Officer Wilson since the shooting, and it remains unclear if either will take place as the investigation is ongoing. During the press conference, Chief Jackson also offered up information about events surrounding the shooting. Based on police reports that state that Brown was involved in a robbery prior to his confrontation with Wilson at around noon on Saturday. The reports state that Brown, along with Dorian Johnson, the man that has become a key witness of the shooting, engaged in what Chief Jackson is calling a strong arm robbery, which involved the theft of about $40 worth of cigarillos. It's been reported that Dorian Johnson's lawyer confirmed this report, as well as Dorian's involvement to the FBI, Department of Justice, and St. Louis County Police Department. Law enforcement is stating that this robbery is in connection with Brown's later confrontation with Officer Wilson. This new information does indeed shed more light on the incident and controversy that is getting global attention, but it offers little to no concrete information about the actual confrontation that took place between Officer Wilson and Michael Brown. Questions continue to circulate about the robbery, the confrontation, the amount of information that's been circulated, and how it's been packaged, as well as the true justification of the shooting. So we spoke with some people right here at the Quick Trip to gain their thoughts on the press conference and how they see things progressing forward.
The press conference, was upsetting. I'm not going to lie, it was definitely upsetting. I really don't see how they're going to be able to rectify this because at the same time, it seems like every time they come out, they're making the situation worse or they're agitating, the folks out here in Ferguson. And I'm a resident of Ferguson, a taxpayer in Ferguson. So, I just feel like that's unfair and unjust,
I say I got here around like 8:30. I stay around the corner and I was like, well, I should be there. You know what I mean? So I came and I heard the press conference, and I really don't think it's going to change anything. I don't think stuff's going to get better. Well, I think it's going to be peaceful and stuff, but I don't think anybody's going to trust Ferguson anymore. I think the police chief, I believe he's covering stuff up.
It was kind of disheartening, just because I would have liked them to treat him as any other citizen who has committed a crime. We all make mistakes as humans. I'm sure that we can go back and find out, mistakes that Officer Wilson has made in the past, even before he was a cop or, while he was a cop. That does not negate the fact that you should execute a person in the street. And I feel like another reason that they won't release the autopsy is because Michael's possibly shot in the top of his head, which probably means that he was not trying to put up a fight. So I feel like it's just a lot of disturbing things with Ferguson that I don't agree with.
I just pray that everything still stays peaceful, because all people are asking for is the truth. And so far, they feel the only thing they've gotten is a name, that they still haven't gotten the truth about what has happened.
And if you could have saw the police chief speaking, he was so nervous, he couldn't believe what he was reading. That was sad. He couldn't even believe what he was reading because he knew there was no truth to that. And like she said, whether he did it or not, it didn't take 9 bullets to stop him.
It's like when you're at war. Even in war, when you surrender, they take you in. He threw his hands up, he surrendered, and you executed him.
Whether you rob a place or not, that don't mean you should be executed in the street like a dog. If he did, I'm not saying he did, but if he did rob a place, he should have had his fair trial and everything like anybody else would. That's how I feel.
Solution is every police officer in the world needs to have a GoPro camera right above his name tag. Second, every municipality needs to have federal monitoring. Okay. Third, they really need to do a profile on persons that are wanting to be police officers so that they go all the way back to when they're in high school. So if they were bullied or if they had racial motives, that they aren't police officers. Because if they're police officers with that agenda, it's going to come to the precinct and it's going to overflow into the streets, and we don't need that.
That boy just graduated from high school. He was finna start college the next day. He didn't get a chance. But yet they put it all over the media of him laying in the middle of the street. Oh my God, really?
Nobody attended to him for 45 minutes. And they saying that the paramedics were right down the street. Well, I have the footage of the whole time he was laying there, and nobody came up.
You know, from a lot of folks that I talked to yesterday, they were, you know, saying that they wanted these answers and they wanted, you know, justice. But they were also saying if they weren't granted these things, then things were possibly going to escalate. So that's kind of what I'm fearful of here tonight. You know, I do know that a lot of, you know, peaceful protesters are out here right now. But I think come tonight, once folks start getting off of work and they start taking in what was told to us from the press conference, I'm not sure that it's going to be the same thing that we saw here last night, you know.
Needless to say, interesting thoughts from the locals. We'll continue to report down here in Ferguson, Missouri as things unfold and more information becomes available. For Complex News, I'm Jinx.